Wah, 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 wah. What's going on with y'all? It's your boy ISO the God. First things first, please come on in, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe. A lot of people consume the content in small form, but I do the long form. I do the whole video. That's what y'all see on my social media is the clips, but I actually do a long video. It's an actual deep breakdown where I give a more in-depth, you get more context to why I say where certain stuff, where I get certain feelings from, just a behind the scene of who I am as a person. But today, man, as I get, grow more and more on social media, and the bigger I'm getting on social media, it's certain things that I'm mindful of now. You can't even post your kids on social media like that. Like, I got some videos recently of my babies, but I am very particular of what information is being passed in said videos. Not giving dates, not giving times, not giving, locations. And if I do, it's going to be long ass time after. I'm not giving play-by-plays of my life. There's a reason why. And the reason why is because we have sick people in this world that are stalking you and your children. I was crazy, right? You wouldn't believe that people are going out their way to stalk you and your children, right? But it is. It's happening in America. It's happening all over. And I plan on showing what the fuck is up. Let's go. Let's get into this video.
New at 6 tonight, you've heard the warning before. Be careful what you post on social media.
However, one mother is sharing her experience that changed what she shares about her children online. As 10 TV's Lindsay Mills reports, it started with a terrifying phone call.
Anybody who follows me knows I'm like an open book. I share, all the fun milestones that we meet and all of the things that they do and all the places we go.
However, from now on, Megan Huffman says she won't be posting pictures of her children on social media.
It was a normal evening and my phone rang.
In December, she answered a call from an unknown number, thinking it was an Instacart shopper for the groceries she ordered.
And it was this man who had been following my family for, it seems like, quite a long time. And it wasn't completely random. I met him when I was 8 years old. He was an old neighbor of mine. And I hadn't had contact with him since then. So, I met a kid when I was 8, seen him across the street a couple times, and then that was it.
He described in detail photos of her 2 young children. She searched his name online and discovered he is a registered sex offender.
Never do you think just posting a simple picture can be dangerous and it can be harmful to your family.
Huffman has asked us not to share his name or photo for her family's safety if he were to be released from jail again. Huffman recently moved with her family from Pickerington back to her childhood town in Kentucky. According to the Kentucky State Police Sex Offender Registry, the man who called Huffman was convicted on charges of sodomy and sex abuse. The victim, 3 years old. The case was from 2011, according to the Fayette County Circuit Court. According to the Kentucky Department of Corrections, in January, he was on sex offender conditional discharge, but committed a technical violation of failing to abide by the rules of the halfway house where he was residing. He returned to jail January 13th. It was right before that violation in late December when Huffman answered a call from a person claiming to be him.
He had said that he had seen that we were doing well and that he knew I had kids and that he had, my pictures in his prison cell, and he's tried to contact me for the past couple of years. And now that he's out, he was able to call. The phone calls kept coming. They kept coming and coming, and they didn't stop until we got the police involved.
Huffman is sharing her story to warn other parents.
You don't know who's lurking in the shadows. You don't know who's looking at your stuff, even if they're completely random or not.
On social media, she's no longer sharing her children's faces, locations of photos, or even those milestone pictures from the first day of school.
If you think about it, my name it has on the sign, I am 4 years old. I'm at such and such school. My favorite thing is an ambulance.
Her hope is that her lesson helps parents protect their children online.
He didn't come into our home, he came into our lives online. And that is what is so scary.
Lindsay Mills, 10 TV News.
Now, another safety measure, you can take off and turn off the location sharing on your phone. To do that, just go over to Settings, Privacy, and then Location Services and turn off location sharing. This stops all apps on your phone from using your location to determine exactly where you are.
Oh my gosh. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, but nobody protests the child molester that's getting out of jail, violating probation, and keeps getting out. Nobody protests these child predators that's stalking you, stalking your children on games, stalking your children on social media. Nobody's protesting stronger defenses, stronger cyber security that helps protect. Y'all got all this spyware, all this spy gear. Y'all been spying on us for years. Y'all been taking all our information, taking all this stuff. Why y'all can't take the information of the child predator? Why y'all can't stop the child predator from doing this type shit? Why we can't feel safe posting our children and posting ourselves and posting everything we got going on? Why we got to feel some type of way about it? Why do I have to hesitate on showing what I want to show on my life because there's fucking weirdos doing goofy shit? Why is that? Let me know. Why is nobody protesting that? Where's the conversations on that? I don't know. I don't see it neither. They talk about a lot of other stuff, but we don't talk about there are child predators stalking you and stalking your children online. Let's get into some more videos. Let's get into some more proof.
Welcome back. It is a pillar of social media, sharing proud moments, fond memories, even life updates with your friends and followers. But since the beginning of posting, some parents have been oversharing, uploading photos of their children online, coupled with intimate details. And in many cases, the kids don't have a say in what's being shared and who it's being shared with. In the next installment of our series, The Other Side of Social Media, we meet a mom who learned the dangers of oversharing firsthand and a young woman working to protect kids online through legislation. Our Elizabeth Schulze has the story.
For Cody, a single mom in California, the post started as a way to entertain her 3 kids during the pandemic.
I had started just doing some dances with my kids online to kind of pass the day. And pretty quickly, I started gaining some traction, getting a following.
She found a community on Instagram and Facebook.
We used to post 500 pictures a day,
where she would share update after update about her family.
I would kind of show the ins and outs of being a single mom.
But it wasn't long before her social media presence took a dark turn after a video of her swapping places with her 5-year-old daughter went viral.
I put my phone down after it posted. A couple hours later, checked it again. It was at 6 million views. And, you know, the first thought there is how exciting it was. And then I opened the comments, and the comments were all inappropriate towards her. I was so disgusted. I immediately deleted the video, deleted every video of them on the page, and haven't really looked back.
Even after wiping every picture of her kids from the internet, she says their school address was leaked and her family started to receive death threats.
I would have gone in to it more prepared, possibly with a, suit of armor, and would never have posted my kids, ever.
It's a lesson Cam Barrett says she wishes her mom had learned. When Cam was young, her private life was thrown into the public domain.
My mom kind of made like my first MySpace account with me. I think that was like my first introduction to like social media, but like as a child, I didn't know better, so I kind of think I like used it more as like a toy.
A toy that soon turned into a digital scrapbook for her mom.
She would just post paragraphs about like my day-to-day life, what I was doing.
Cam's mom sharing moments that were deeply personal, from her first period to photos of her in a bikini as a child, and this moment after Cam was in a car accident.
She was right there taking pictures when I'm like strapped to the gurney and I have a neck brace on, and it's like I needed a hand to hold, but like it was like a camera put in my face instead. And so like I think that was the moment I realized I was just like, I don't know, I kind of felt like a product almost, because it just was like, It's like I needed my mom in that moment.
Posting snowballed into an addiction for her mom, while Cam endured bullying online.
There would be so many people commenting being like, why is she always sick? Like, what's really wrong with her? Like, is there actually anything wrong with her? It's probably just her anxiety. My mom would make me like her profile picture and stuff. Like, she would get like comments from older men. She didn't know better. You know, the internet was so new to her generation.
Parenting expert Leah Plunkett is the author of Parenthood. She says posting online is now an extension of families' everyday lives.
The online world is and can be and will continue to be super fun.
But she says many parents aren't aware of just who can see their posts.
You really have no reliable way as a parent, or really any user of social media, of knowing exactly which eyeballs will be on the data that is reflected in your post now or in the future.
I had the opportunity to be on a podcast to talk about House Bill 1627.
As the first generation of children with oversharing parents grows up, families and lawmakers are now facing the challenge of how to protect kids' privacy on the mostly unregulated internet.
It's a different culture to grow up in the eye of social media, and the pressures are very different. They're much more intense.
Washington State Representative Christine Reeves co-sponsored a first-of-its-kind bill seeking to regulate parenting vlogs. The bill, which is stalled in the state legislature, would allow kids to request content be taken down once they reach a certain age.
Not all kids get that right or that choice to be included in these materials, and quite frankly don't always get the explanation of what it could mean for them, the implications of it long term.
Cam Barrett testified in favor of the Washington State bill.
When you Google my name, simply just my first name, childhood photos of me in bikinis will pop up, and I'm terrified to have those weaponized against me again.
And is now an advocate for children's privacy online.
When I did get on TikTok, I had no intentions of like being a creator or being an advocate for anything. I desperately just want a second chance at life. And people were really like receptive to that. And a lot of people resonated with that. And so that's kind of how like my platform got built.
If you do have to include your kids, blur their faces, show the back of them. Don't share things like full names. Don't share birthdays. Don't share locations. Don't share schools.
Cody knows not all families are willing to remove all content of their kids online, but encourages other parents to think twice before clicking that upload button.
We can't avoid our kids living their lives. Obviously, we want them to do that. We can avoid them being shown to millions of strangers unnecessarily for no reason.
This shit is sick. Like, you literally have people preying on your children. Like, this shit is crazy. This is crazy that we don't have legislation already. This happened 2 years ago. There has not been no major bills passed since this reporting and right now on people preying on you and your children. People are stalking you and your children. This shit is happening right now. This shit is happening right fucking now. It's so fucking bad. Man, it's crazy. I can't believe that nobody's protesting these grown ass men stalking children. I know why nobody don't want to protest that. Cause somebody got to be stalking them, right? Why would the stalkers protest the stalkers? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't, it don't make sense for them to do that. That'll start implicating, that'll start putting out some people's faces that probably don't want their faces put out. What's so crazy is you can have people seeing all this information, going through all of this information, and then what's going to end up happening is they're going to ignore it, they're going to put their kid on Lyft or Uber Teen or whatever. None of this information is gonna fly back past their face. None of this information gonna fly past their brain that, hey, this is what's happening in real life today and to your kids. Watch this.
Dramatic surveillance video captures the moment a frightened 15-year-old girl sprinted to safety after an alleged attempted kidnapping.
My whole world just shattered.
Utah mom Karina Ramirez says she called a Lyft for her daughter Caitlin Saturday to take her to an appointment. Then just moments after the driver picked her daughter up, she says she received a chilling phone call.
She's like, Mom, did you just cancel the Lyft? And I was like, no, I didn't. She's like, yeah, the driver is stating that you canceled the Lyft. And I was like, Caitlin, he just canceled the ride. He did it.
She says it was the driver who canceled the ride, offering to drive Caitlin to her destination anyway. But when Karina used a location sharing app to track her daughter's location, she says the car was moving in the wrong direction.
She was like, sir, I need to get out. I can hear it in her voice that it changed. And she went, Mommy, he's not listening to me. Mommy, he's not stopping the car.
That's when Ramirez says she told her daughter to get out of the car and run as fast as she could. Police are currently investigating. In a statement, Lyft saying the horrifying incident is reprehensible, adding they have removed the driver from the Lyft platform and stand ready to assist law enforcement with any investigation.
I'm happy she took control of the situation, and to me, she's just a brave teenager.
You can see that mom getting emotional. Police telling ABC News it's too early to know whether or not the driver will face charges, but this incident happened less than 48 hours before Lyft's announcement on Monday of a new service. It's called Lyft Teen. It's for kids aged 13 to 17 to request rides that their parents can monitor in the app. Lyft says it's safe for teens, but authorities suggest sharing your location with relatives, like in this case, and follow along with the rideshare with GPS and request pickups and drop-offs at public locations whenever possible, guys.
Yeah, that is really helpful advice. Okay, thank you, Rhiannon.
Why do you even have to move like that, period? Like, where are we living at? Are we living in a third world country? Is this Djibouti? Like, what is this? Why we can't feel safe about allowing our child to be safe? And like, what is this? What is this? Where's the protest? That happened 3 days ago. Man, y'all don't give a fuck. Y'all don't give a fuck about real shit that's happening to real people in real life and real, no. Y'all don't give a fuck. Nobody cares. Nobody bats an eye. Woo! Hey, somebody tried to abduct a teenager using Lyft Teen, an app off your phone. Somebody tried to abduct a little girl 3 days ago. Yes, they're using your shit to spy on you. They're using your shit to do it. And guess what? Your officials, your elected officials ain't doing a goddamn thing about it. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Wow, it's crazy. It's crazy. But in other countries and other places in the world, they're trying to combat it more. At least they're having an actual conversation. In Australia, they're having a social media ban on children under a certain age. In Australia, they're combating this shit. And even in UK, they're trying to combat it in Australia fashion. You know what I'm saying? Now let's get into it.
The UK government is proposing a plan to restrict social media access for children under the age of 16. This is part of a new consultation on online safety to protect young people from addictive online habits. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says the legislation needs to move quickly.
Now, we've already announced that we're going to do a consultation on banning social media for under 16s. And that will start very soon. But I'm really clear the status quo, things as they are now, is not good enough. We also need to do with AI bots. This is something relatively new. And we saw with Grok, did you see the thing with Grok just the other week? An AI bot that allowed you to instruct it to undress people. And it did. It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And we went into battle on that because I thought this is not good enough. We went into battle. We made the necessary steps, we threatened action, and we won that battle in relation to Grok, but we've got to do it with all AI bots.
The British Prime Minister there. Well, opponents of the British government's plan argue better regulation of tech companies is the answer. Charlie Angela has been meeting young people to see how technology is already affecting them.
On a weekday evening in Forest Row, it's pool on one side, TikTok on the other. As the UK government discusses a ban on social media for children under 16, these students are already calculating how long they scroll, how it makes them feel, and whether they could live without it.
I downloaded an app which showed me if you spend 7 hours a day on your phone across your life, if you're spending that much time on it, it adds up to 31 years. So that's when I realised I had to delete TikTok and Instagram.
Even with the cricket videos, I'm still getting addicted to something that I could just be going out and doing. It just goes to show that it's not unrealistic, but it's something that I shouldn't be watching if I can just go out and do it.
Research shows 95% of the UK's 13 to 15-year-olds use social media regularly. In the UK, parents are concerned, and the government is listening, launching a 3-month consultation on how to improve their relationships with social media. Protecting children from seeing harmful content is the main aim. Too late for some, though.
There's a lot of people under 13 who's obviously seen a lot of people die on the internet, or obviously a lot of drugs on there. And obviously that's not good for anyone under 18, but they don't really care about it.
Some leading children's organisations are arguing against a ban. Instead, they're asking the government to take a more active role.
Apply the powers you already have. Make sure the regulator does that strictly and strongly. Work with these social media platforms to change the way in which they respond to society. And if you have to, in the end, threaten to ban it.
Trust me, you wouldn't.
They're also concerned for young people for whom social media is a lifeline.
Because I don't go to school, I spend a lot of time on it, and if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be socialising in some sense. And I'd just be sat there doing nothing.
So this is a government's response to the bullshit that's happening online. This is when a government cares about you. This is when a government cares about you. This is when a government's response makes you feel like they care about you, goddammit. In America, we allow our YNs, our children, will see everything. Our children could be a part of every conversation. I remember back in the old days, children couldn't be in grown folks' conversation. Now these children are the grown folks' conversation. They're in grown folks' conversation. They could pull up in my comment section just like somebody who's 54 and they're having online debates. They're having ideology debates. They're being recruited. I did a story earlier about how they're recruiting little girls in California, and they're taking them, they're beating them up, they're sexually assaulting them. They're forcing them into forced sex labor, right? And in the UK, they're trying to do something about the recruiting. They're trying to do something about the online bullshit that's happening in UK, but in America, they don't give a fuck. And then in America, they're so don't give a fuck about the sexual shit that's happening to your kids that's being abducted, that in another state, they're moving to legalize the act. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you. Let me show you why I'm the best in the world. Let me show you why people listen to me. Let me show you why people listen to me. Let me show you.
A Colorado bill could make our state the first in the nation to fully decriminalize prostitution.
Yeah, Senate Bill 97, introduced last week, would legalize commercial sexual activity, both for people who buy and sell sex willingly. As you can imagine, the topic's drawing a lot of reaction.
Now, Fox 31's Nicole Fierro speaking to people on all sides of this topic tonight. She's joining us live now with the latest. Nicole?
Yeah, a sponsor of this bill tells us it's all about making it healthier and safer for people who willingly engage in sex work. But we talked to a woman who helps rescue victims of sex trafficking, and she fears this will only increase the very dangerous issue and could make it worse.
This is not what I would call a safe bill.
From an organization centered around helping human trafficking victims to a Colorado district attorney.
It is difficult to imagine a more unneeded, untimely, and reckless bill.
We're hearing input about Senate Bill 97, looking to decriminalize adult commercial sexual activity. Senator Nick Henriksen, a sponsor of the bill, says this is not the return of the Old West or bringing back brothels.
The approach is saying what happens in the private bedrooms of consenting adults isn't the government's business, and the government will no longer be involved in that.
Are we going to turn Colorado into Las Vegas, or are we going to keep Colorado good for families?
This is not what is the legal framework at all in Nevada or Amsterdam. It is much more closely aligned with the framework of New Zealand and multiple states in Australia and Belgium.
He sent us this study that found sex workers exposed to, quote, repressive police practices had a higher risk of HIV and STIs. Also, criminalization disrupted sex workers' support networks.
Overwhelmingly, the data shows that the outcomes for reduced trafficking, reduced violence.
We're not talking about domestic human trafficking. We're talking about overseas different situations. So that does not apply here. And if pimps and traffickers believe that women will no longer have any sort of consequences, and neither will the clients, then they're going to very much flock to Colorado to expand their efforts.
Janelle Goodrich is the founder and executive director of From Silence to Saved.
We have responded on scene for multiple situations just in the past couple weeks where we knew these women had pimps. We knew they were scared. We knew they were under control and coercion. And their words were, "I'm fine. He's my boyfriend. I'm doing this on my own." But if it is decriminalized, who's going to intervene? We just send them back out.
She says there's already legal protections in place for sex workers to come forward to police and get immunity to protect themselves.
My stance and concerns and strong opposition towards this policy is the fallout of it long term and the amount of victims that will go unseen and unresponded to because of this policy.
Brockler brought up a question. Why not put this on a ballot for voters to decide? And we asked the sponsor. He said that victims, or not victims, but people who engage in sex work, this could help, are going to testify in front of a committee, and more data would be brought in front of them, where he thinks that would be missed in a ballot question. He also says he thinks this will go to committee in a few weeks, and if it is passed, that would go into effect in July. We'll keep an eye on any developments. Reporting live in Denver, Nicole Fierro, Fox 31.
Hey, in July, if all of this goes by in July, you can abduct a woman, take her to Colorado, do whatever the fuck you want to do with her, and force her into slavery. And get paid for it. Legally in Colorado. Where the fuck is the protest for that? Where's the protest for that? Y'all don't care about that? Nah. I know y'all care about that. We already have millions of women and children missing now. All they got to do is just go to Colorado and we good. That's cool. That's acceptable to y'all? We good on that. Okay. But I'm the bad guy. Let me be the bad guy. Okay. I care about your children being abducted, being manipulated, suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, and forced into legalized sex work in Colorado. I care about that. I care about that. Ain't too many people who care about that like me. I care about that. That's bullshit. Let's highlight that. Let's highlight this, Colorado. Y'all highlight ICE. Everybody marching for ICE and Renee Good and Alex. Yo, why you keep saying that? So we could bring attention to legalize sex slaves in Colorado. I got you, didn't you? I got you to talk about it, didn't I? I got you to think about it, didn't I? That's crazy. I got to do this to get you to think about sex slaves in Colorado. It's crazy. Wow. Wow. Why don't nobody give a fuck about that? Why don't we give a fuck about that? Okay. Let me show you. So all the things that they don't get. So instead of Colorado trying to combat certain bullshit, instead of these states, instead of this country trying to combat social media, right? You have a state legalizing Colorado sex slave, and look at what happens, and look at how human trafficking is developed in this country. Let me show you how they know what it is, right? Let me show you. This is why people watch me. If you ain't know, this is why people watch me.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Rup Raj. Tonight, women looking for love, instead trapped and attacked by a man who they say seemed normal. 3 victims so far and counting. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack is live now with one woman's terrifying story. Jessica.
Well, the suspect here is being held on a $1 million bond. And Roop, you know they don't hand those out easy anymore. Police say that speaks to how dangerous this guy is. Now, let's put a face to the story here. Let's take a look at a picture of 31-year-old Daniil Sandridge Jones from Detroit. He's charged in connection to assaulting at least 3 women. And the common thread is that he met them on Facebook dating. At first, we're told he seemed normal, but after a couple of dates, the women described him as snapping. Then he allegedly attacked. All of the crimes apparently happened at Sandridge Jones' East Side Detroit home. He threw a brick at one woman's face and then at her car, choked and beat another woman, allegedly. And in the case of 27-year-old Jacayla Archie, he stabbed her multiple times in the neck and made her drive around at knife point throughout the city of Detroit. She had no idea what his plans with her were.
I definitely thought I wasn't going to survive, like, at all. I never thought I was ever going to make it out of there. It was to the point where I started praying and things of that nature. And when he found out that I was praying, and when he heard me whisper God, he was like, you believe in God? You believe in God? I knew that he had did this to multiple women prior. I just had a feeling like you had to do this before because he was too comfortable.
Yeah, Jacayla said at first, though, everything seemed normal. It seemed like casual dating. Now, she was able to escape last month when this all happened. After several hours, they went back to his East Side Detroit home. She said he got distracted by a phone call. She was able to grab her keys and get out of there, but she sincerely was not sure that she'd make it out alive. Now, we did talk to Detroit police about this case. They are investigating. They had a lot to say, including the possibility of more victims. We'll get into that later on The Edge at 11. For now, live in downtown Detroit, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, I mean, just the details you're telling us about tonight are so terrifying, so awful, hard to even understand how someone could deal with that. Is she still afraid? I imagine that she still has so much trauma from what happened here.
Sure, and she is from the Grand Rapids. She's from the west side of the state. She doesn't know many people here. She's concerned because now her name's out there, her face is out there. She's glad that she spoke up, but this guy is from Detroit. He has friends, he has family. She's concerned, and we are talking about allegations and charges at this point. He's not been convicted, so she's unclear what will happen, and we all are at this point, but we'll continue to follow this one. We'll see you on The Edge.
Yeah, we'll see you in a few minutes here on The Edge at 11. Jessica Dupnack for us live tonight. Thank you.
Black History Month. Black History Month. Damn. Why I'm always talking about, why I gotta always mention a nigga is doing something? Why I gotta always mention there's niggas out here preying on you on social media, taking your women, forcing them into doing shit, forcing them into sex labor, forcing them. Is why I gotta always mention it. And guess what? If everything happens, because it ain't even a vote on that bill in Colorado, If everything goes according to plan, in July, they can take them to Colorado and force them into a legalized sex slave. They could make a sex slave in Colorado in July. Why? What a protest for that? Why ain't no protest for that? Can we protest for that? So I know y'all don't care about niggas dying. Y'all don't care about your children being preyed upon on social media. You don't care about women being kidnapped. You don't care about nothing being happening. How about this? Maybe, hold on, let me see what else I got in store for y'all. Maybe y'all care about 4 kids dying in one state, in one high school, in one go round. Maybe do y'all just care about people dying? Let's get out the sex slave. Let's get out the whatever. Let's just talk about 4 kids died in one school district. Fast as a motherfucker. Can we talk about this? What's happening in San Antonio, Texas?
Tonight we're learning more about the teens who have died, plus what Northside ISD says it's doing right now to help grieving students.
4 student deaths since last week, leaving 2 Northside ISD communities grieving. At Stevens High School, family confirms 16-year-old student-athlete Jaron Troy Lawson collapsed during football practice yesterday and later died at the hospital. District leaders say his coach was by his side when he passed 6 minutes after midnight. 3 other deaths are connected to Marshall High School. 15-year-old Ziba Mirshadad was killed Monday after police say she was hit by a commercial trash truck. The 2 other Marshall students are believed to have died by suicide. One has been identified as Makari Jacobs. Her mother, Keisha, told us Makari was a kind, creative, caring young woman who was fighting an internal battle for some time.
Her and I had the conversation. We were both going to get Valentine's nails, and we were both going to do polka dots on them. And she went the next day and got her nails done by another student at Marshall.
Alicia Kelly teaches Marshall's pre-nursing program and knew Makari personally. Yesterday, Kelly walked out in protest, saying the campus needs stronger mental health support.
They just said there was a loss of life on campus. You may notice some signs, and your children gave a little list and said the counselors are available. There was nothing else out there. No additional resources, nothing.
NISD says counselors have mobilized to campuses and students can reach out to counselors, nurses, or administrators, adding that in a crisis situation, students are seen immediately.
When we experience a student loss, it is a community loss.
Dr. Kimberly Ridgely, Assistant Superintendent for Whole Child Development at NISD, says students may show grief through anger, sadness, or withdrawal, and parents should watch for changes in eating, sleeping, or social behavior.
We tell parents to say, I have some sad news I need to tell you, and then tell them the news. We tell parents to be honest about what is developmentally appropriate. And so we say death and we say died because that is appropriate.
As the community mourns, students at Marshall are now looking at ways to honor the classmates they've lost.
I just want them to know that they're loved and we see them.
The new Senate Bill 12 requires students to get a parent's signature, parent permission to see a counselor. But NISD tells us if a student is in a life or death situation, if they're in a crisis, for example, if they're having suicidal thoughts, they will be seen by a counselor immediately and parents will be notified. Meanwhile, Makari's family is raising money for her funeral. We've posted all the information you need to know on our website, KENS5.com. Just click on this story. Live in the newsroom, Alicia Nieves, KENS 5.
They're passing a bill that is going to require even more time being taken in between this process of this child receiving help. Because you got to think about it. The teachers see your kids more than you do. The counselor is going to have more interactions with your child more than you do. You're going to have the least amount. And this child is not going to come to them. This child is not going to come to you. This child is not going to say, hey, look, I'm getting recruited online. Hey, look, I'm being bullied online. Hey, look, this is happening. We are already seeing how emotionally fragile this generation is. Why is there a whole nother step now? They don't give a fuck about your kids. It's not a priority, your kids' safeties. So what's happening is your child is being recruited by other deranged people's kids. It's becoming a hotbed. So nobody don't give a fuck about this though. This don't deserve no protests, no extra conversations, no extra thoughts, no extra momentums. I ain't hear 4 people died in San Antonio. 4 kids in less than 2 weeks died in San Antonio. This was five days ago. I never heard of this. This should be national news. Oh man, but nobody cares about, fuck them kids. I don't care. Nobody cares. Okay, bet. Do y'all care about, maybe, y'all be religious and shit. Do y'all care about church? Do y'all care about church people? Slavery? Do you care about church people abducting people? Do y'all care? I wonder. Let me show y'all why I'm the best. Let me show you.
Well, a third person has now been indicted in the federal case against the Kingdom of God Global Church, and the church leader is facing more charges after he and his 2 executives were accused of operating a money laundering and forced labor operation. Let's bring in Fox 13's Kylie Jones. Joining us on our newsroom with the latest developments on this ongoing case. Kylie, what more did you find out?
Well, Mark, if you remember, that whole operation was uncovered this past summer. David Taylor is the man allegedly behind it all, and again, he referred to himself as apostle. Well, he's now facing some new federal charges related to trafficking. But we're also learning from a new indictment that a third person has been charged in this case. That is Kathleen Klein, who, according to that indictment, was known as Prophetess. The feds say Klein and Michelle Brannon, who was also arrested in Tampa Bay back in the summer, helped Taylor run call centers around the country. The FBI raided a number of those call centers, including one inside this mansion in the affluent Avila neighborhood in Hillsborough County. Court documents previously revealed the workers inside these call centers were allegedly put through mental and physical abuse, while the head honchos were spending millions of dollars in earnings on luxury items. Now, Klein is being named in those documents, and she's accused of being another enforcer of Taylor's demands and punishments. The indictment includes texts that Klein allegedly sent to the managers of a Houston center threatening heavy labor and physical abuse. Now, meanwhile, Taylor, who's been behind bars since his arrest in August, is facing new charges of conspiracy to establish peonage, slavery, involuntary servitude, or trafficking. This new indictment accuses him of requesting and receiving sexually explicit pictures and videos from female victims within the church. The feds say some of those victims were afraid of disobeying Taylor. Now, the Kingdom of God Global Church, which was also previously known as Joshua Media Ministries, does appear to still be operating in some capacity. Last month, the church filed documents demanding its money and assets back because the church itself hadn't been charged with wrongdoing. And according to the church's YouTube page, which we checked earlier today, it's still holding Sunday services, with the most recent one being posted this weekend. Mark.
All right, Kylie Jones on this force. Introduce him. Kylie, thanks much.
Y'all don't give a fuck. Damn. Why is nobody protesting this? This has happened. This happened yesterday. Why ain't nobody? Where is the federal the scandal in this nigga? Black History Month. Black History. This is crazy. Y'all don't care. Y'all gonna protest Renee Good and Alex Preddy, y'all. Yeah, you gonna protest that? Why do I care about saying those names? Because maybe me saying those names will get you to think about there was a local pastor running a sweatshop in America. Not a local pastor. This was a mega pastor. He had mansions. He had a whole system that went from Florida to Texas. Call centers. He's preying on women in the church. He's preying on women in the church. So y'all don't care about the church. Y'all don't care about the niggas. Y'all don't care about California. Y'all don't care about your school system, the predators working in your school system. Y'all don't care about the predators preying on your kids online. Y'all don't care about the church preying on you. Let me show you some more church shit. Fuck it. Let me show you why. I'm that nigga. See, look, it's gonna be. Listen, some of y'all don't understand that we so close because I'm the one black guy that's gonna talk real life shit. I'm gonna talk real life shit. This is what I do. I talk real fucking life. I'm into that. I'm into real life. I'm not into fake life. I'm not into gimmicks. Everything I'm saying, the reason why it's felt the way it's felt because I'm real. I'm a real person speaking. People want to throw up the gimmicks and the acts and all that. I don't do that shit. Why? Because you could feel it though. This is really how I talk. This is how I speak to my friends on the daily. This is how I communicate with my people. This is how. I'm animated. I'm talking on the phone. I'm walking. I'm pacing around, walking around all day because this is what I do. I'm animated. This is how I am. You know. Shout out to my team too for, I got some. Hey man, shout out my team. Shout out to my team. But let's get in this.
A search is now ramping up all across Metro Atlanta for a missing South Carolina mother. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Jones.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. Thanks for joining us on 11 Alive and streaming on 11 Alive Plus. Take a look. This is the woman at the center of a search, 37-year-old Lee McAllister. Cobb County Police say she was last seen Saturday, and we're told she's a wife and mother of a 4-year-old son.
11 Alive's Cody Alcorn just spoke with Lee's husband tonight. He's live right now in Buckhead, where she may have been spotted. Cody?
That's right, Ron and Jennifer. I can tell you Rob is in town, nearly 200 miles away from their home in South Carolina, searching for his wife. Rob tells me he last spoke to Lee on Friday night. It's believed Lee may have been spotted here along Piedmont Road, right across from the Buckhead Landing here behind me near Peachtree Road. On Saturday, as you mentioned, it's just one lead they are chasing down tonight. So here is what we know right now. Take a look. Lee came to Atlanta on Friday, allegedly to attend a conference at a church in Midtown. The last time Lee's family heard from her was on Friday night. Now, Cobb County Police say she was last seen on Saturday, February 14th. Now, today, Rob confirmed her SUV was found abandoned at the Battery next to Truist Park with her personal belongings, including her phone and wallet, still inside. So here we are tonight. He is desperately out here trying to find his wife and chase down those leads, and also going through some surveillance video. Cobb County Police confirms their major crimes unit is investigating her disappearance. And as I mentioned, they are from South Carolina. So we're going to map this out for you in case you're not familiar with that area. Rob and Lee live in Lexington, South Carolina. That's in the Midlands, nearly 200 miles away from here in Atlanta. We know she got into town on Friday at some point, and as I mentioned, her vehicle was found abandoned at the Battery in Cobb County today. Now, it's unclear when she possibly left it there. And of course, the big question here, a lot of dots to connect, is if her vehicle is at the Battery, that's where it was left, how is she getting around and where is she going, kind of what's happened to her. I talked to Rob on the phone. He was just not ready to speak on camera just yet. He said this is very out of character for his wife. He can't imagine her leaving him or their 4-year-old son. Of course, he's wondering where his mom is tonight. So still a lot of unanswered questions here. Cobb County Police asking anyone who might have information on her whereabouts to give them a call. Of course, this is a story we are staying on top of and keeping in touch with Rob as he continues to search for his wife across Metro Atlanta. Live in Buckhead, Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News.
Yeah. Hopefully authorities can get her to a safe place here, Cody. So once again, folks, here's a look at Lee McAllister, possibly last seen in Buckhead. So if you have seen her, you have any information about her whereabouts, call 911 or Cobb County Police.
Let's be clear. We have real life predators taking and abducting our women and children. Lee McAllister is just one. It's just one. This is breaking news. I hope she's found. This is what we're speaking against, though. We're speaking against somebody being able to take a woman, force her into sex slaves, force her as a sex slave, and legalizely make money off of it in Colorado. In America. This shit kind of make you question, where do you even want to live sometime? I love this country. Don't get me wrong. I served in the military here. You know, my family's here. But man, they don't give a fuck. The people are just shitty, man. People are just shitty. You won't think people would prey on innocent people like this. You just wouldn't think, but they do, sadly. They prey on you. There's animals out here and they prey on you. It's a lot of animals out here, but they ain't prey on you. They forcing you into labor. They're getting rich off of your labor. They're doing it in the churches. They're preying on your kids at the schools. They're preying on you in your neighborhoods. They're preying on you. Everybody's preying on you. And this is crazy. This is crazy. Hey, I hope she's found. Sadly, it's just another case that happens. Sadly, there's going to be no more protesting, no marching. What's going to happen is they're going to find something. They might even get a conviction, but the actual issue is never dealt with. They're calling for better mental health support in San Antonio, though. They're calling for better mental health in really all over the country. That really needs to be the answer. Maybe somebody needs to talk more. Maybe somebody needs to put our mental health at the forefront, like as a people. Maybe. But that's if they care. But hey, I'm out.